Chapter 1. Model of Earth. Ponder point. The Sun, the Moon, stars and planets including our Earth, are called celestial bodies. The Earth looks blue and green ball from the space. But if it is round in shape, people would surely fall off. Nobody has ever fallen off the Earth in this way. Let's find out the reason. Reading objectives. The globe latitudes and longitudes. Global grid. Our blue planet, Earth. The Earth is the fifth largest planet in our solar system. It is shaped like an orange which is slightly flattened at the poles. In fact, long ago everyone believed that the Earth was flat. They believed that if we traveled to far-off places, we would fall off. To see the curving surface of the Earth, you would have to go very high into the space, then soon you would be able to see the Earth curving away into the distance. Geographers have developed different means of representing the Earth on a smaller scale, to make its study easy. The globe, model of Earth. Earth is so much bigger than us. We can see only short distances at a time. So, the geographers made globe, a small model of the Earth. It shows us the shape and location of the continents, oceans and seas on a smaller scale. It also shows the shapes and location of countries, and the location of important cities. We can see only half of the globe at one time. However, it can be turned around a line passing through it. This imaginary line is called axis. The axis is not straight. It is tilted at an angle of 23.5 degrees. The two end points of the axis of rotation are called the poles. To the north is the North Pole, and to the south is the South Pole. The northern and southern hemispheres. On the globe, we see an imaginary line midway between the poles, which is encircling the Earth. This line is called equator. It divides the Earth into two equal halves, called the hemispheres. To the north of the equator is the northern hemisphere, and to the south of the equator is the southern hemispheres. Get to know more. The first person to declare the roundness of the Earth was Copernicus. Ferdinand Magellan was a Spanish sailor. He started sailing from west and his ship reached on starting point from east. It undoubtedly proved the Earth to be round. The word planet comes from a Greek word, planeter, means wanderer. Planets are so called because they are always constantly in motion around the Sun. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Latitudes and longitudes. Latitudes or parallel lines are drawn around the Earth, like the equator. These horizontal lines are called latitudes. The vertical lines are semicircles that run from the North Pole to the South Pole. They are called longitudes or meridians. To locate places on the globe, horizontal, latitudes, and vertical, longitudes, are drawn on the model of Earth or globe. Latitudes and longitudes are marked in degrees and minutes. 60 minutes equals 1 degree. Locating places. The North Pole is 90 degrees north, and the South Pole is 90 degrees south. The equator is marked 0 degrees. Thus, the latitude of a place tells you how far north or south a place is from the equator. Let's learn it through example. A place with a latitude of 45 degrees north is located in the northern hemisphere, midway between the equator and the North Pole. A place with a latitude of 60 degrees north is further north. There are total 181 degrees of latitudes. There are 90 degrees of latitude in the northern hemisphere, 90 degrees of latitude in the southern hemisphere, and there is the 0 degrees latitude, that is the equator. Get to know more. Earth, Yarmouth, USA, is largest globe of the world. Earth is a three-dimensional 3D scale of our Earth. It rotates, revolves just like our Earth does. Important latitudes and their features. Along with the equator and poles, there are 4 other important latitudes. These are Tropic of Cancer at 23.5 degrees north, Arctic Circle at 66.5 degrees north, Tropic of Capricorn at 23.5 degrees south, Antarctic Circle at 66.5 degrees south. All the latitudes form complete circles, except the north and south poles. They run parallel to each other in the east-west direction. All the latitudes are at an equal distance from each other. The latitudes decrease in length as we move from the equator to the poles. Get to know more. If you stand at the North Pole, all directions point south, there is no east or west. Similarly, at the South Pole, all directions point north. Longitudes: date, time, and location. The prime meridian or the Greenwich meridian is marked 0 degrees, and running through the Old Royal Observatory at Greenwich near London. There are 360 degrees of longitude, 180 degrees of longitude east of the prime meridian, and 180 degrees of longitudes west of the prime meridian. The 180 degrees east and 18 degrees west longitudes meet and form a single line on the opposite side of the world, called the 180 degrees longitude or the International Date Line. So, we can see, the longitude of a place tells you how much east or west of the Greenwich meridian the place is located. Features of longitudes. The lines of longitudes are semicircles that run from one pole to the other pole. They run in a true north-south direction. They are spaced farthest apart at the equator and come together to a point at the poles. The latitudes and longitudes cut each other at right angles. The global grid. The latitudes and longitudes together form a network of lines, or a grid, on the globe. If we know the longitude and latitude of a place, we can locate it accurately on the but a globe has some difficulties or limitations. Many details like mountains and plateaus cannot be shown on a globe. Searching dictionary. Equator. An imaginary line that goes round the Earth and divides it into the northern and southern hemispheres. Latitudes. Imaginary parallel lines that are drawn round the Earth parallel to the equator. It measures the distance of a place north or south of the equator. Longitudes, or meridians. Imaginary lines that run vertically from the North Pole to the South Pole. It measures the distance of a place east or west of the prime meridian. Word to know. The geographer's made globe, a small model of the Earth. The globe shows us the shape and location of the continents, oceans and seas on a smaller scale. On the globe, to the north is the North Pole, and to the south is the South Pole. The equator is an imaginary line encircling the Earth midway between the poles. It divides the Earth into 2 equal halves, the hemispheres. The prime meridian or the Greenwich meridian is marked 0 degrees, and running through the Old Royal Observatory at Greenwich near London. The latitudes and longitudes togetherly form a network of lines or a grid on the globe. It is useful to know the location of a place on globe.